I came too late for that. I know. But lately I'm getting the feeling that I came in at the end. The best is over.
Many Americans, I think, feel that way.
I think about my father. He never reached the heights like me. But in a lot of ways, he had it better. He had his people. They had their standards. They had pride. Today, what do we got?
What is up, my fellow Homo sapiens? It is Maelstrom, back to save YouTube once again. Today, this is very unscripted of a video, but I really just wanted to talk about the past and how it relates to the future and the present, in a way. I got some Battlefield 1 gameplay in the background, which I guess partially inspired this video, as well as the clip that I just showed. Now, for any of you that are living under a rock, that is The Sopranos. That is from The Sopranos, a very famous HBO show that I happen to love. I'm a little bit biased because I am Italian-American, but that show is fantastic. It shows the inner workings of the mob in the early 21st century, early 2000s, HBO, when HBO was on fire. Anyway, so that clip, the main character, Tony Soprano, basically talks about how he feels like he came in the end of the glory days. Now he's talking about the glory days of the mob, but I feel like this was something that drew me into the show to begin with. That was really that, the past is over and some of the best days are behind us, and I feel like that instantly resonated with me when I first watched the show. Now, of course, I'm not in the mob, so that's not what I'm talking about at all, but I am talking about purely just my life in general and seeing how things have transpired over the years. Now, I know a lot of people these days, especially in my generation, being Generation Z and millennials and even people older than that, are just very nostalgic. And you have to ask yourself, why are people so nostalgic? Why does everyone romanticize the past? What's going on there? Maybe there's some common thread that really unites us on why the past was so great, because maybe the past is just seen with rose-tinted glasses. We really think about it where there were bad things going on in the past, like there are today, but for some reason, today and the future it just looks more and more bleak. And this is for many, many reasons. Quality of things is getting worse, affordability, the economy of things is getting worse, but for some reason, we just really romanticize the past, even if things weren't too much better in certain aspects. Maybe some things weren't as socially acceptable in the past as they are now, which I feel somewhat mixed on, Some things I believe are socially acceptable, have always been socially acceptable, and, now they are, and in the past maybe they weren't, so that's good that they are now. But like Tony Soprano said in the clip, some people back then had standards of how to live. Go to your job, come home to your wife and children type of thing. That was the quote-unquote American dream. Be well off, middle class, have a nice house, kids, family, what have you. But everyone tried to live a decent life. And I feel like these days, that kind of traditional quote-unquote lifestyle is going away, which has its pros and cons, but it's just very different. Another thing is video games have really changed. That a complete pivot, but video games, quality of products, media, movies, TV. What is going on? I feel like back then, in the early 2000s and even before, there was quality media. There was this consistent quality when you watched or played a certain piece of media that I feel like cannot be found too often today. They just kind of churn things out for a profit. And don't get me wrong, there are still diamonds in the rough in terms of media these days, and genuinely people who have passion to make a good bit of media that is going to be well renowned and respected for its quality. But I feel like more often than not, things are kind of more quantity over quality. I mean, look how many Call of Duty games have come out recently that are just utter dog shit. Carbon copy of the one last year. I feel like the only thing really keeping Call of Duty afloat for me these days is zombies, which I have felt very mixed on the past few years. It's definitely not been as good as it was a decade plus ago when Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 were out. They've kind of changed the game a little bit. And this game in the background, you see Battlefield 1. Now, I remember when this game came out. It was 2016. I was 14 years old and I was a freshman in high school. And the hype around this game was insane. From the very moment the trailer came out with that rendition of Seven Nation Army, and it just showed you all the cool shit in the game, you know, the Juggernaut suit where you were shooting people with the MG08, and, you know, just all the gunplay going on, the vehicles you could command, the blimp. It all looked so cool. And what was awesome about Battlefield 1 is the game really delivered compared to the hype. The hype for this game was astronomical. And I feel like, in a way, it delivered on every little bit of hype that it got, because everything that you saw in that trailer for Battlefield 1, you could actually do in game. Now that's a novel concept. I feel like these days, people will churn out games or show the trailer or show a demo of a game, and then the final product will just be something so much different than what was originally showcased, and that really pisses me off. Like, why on earth are you putting showcase on something that you try to make look so quality, and then it just ends up being a piece of crap in the end? I really don't understand that. So I can see why people romanticize the past in the fact that, yes, certain things had quality and standards that they had to live up to, as opposed to now where things are just kind of churned out for the sake of being churned out. But yeah, I mean, I feel like another thing I could talk about in terms of the past and the present is, now guys, I remember a time where if you had a flip phone, I'm not even joking, a flip phone or one of those slide with the sliding keyboard phones, if you had one of those, you were considered cool. Or you could play some games on it and it was considered really cool. I remember when my dad had like one of those slider phones, you could play some like stupid little helicopter game on it. It was a 2D game, you know, 8-bit graphics, really nothing fancy. This was, I don't know, early 2000s to the early 2010s, somewhere in that time frame. But I remember that so well and thinking it was so cool that you could play a game on a phone. And at the time, you know, the DS and the PSP were like really revolutionary for handheld gaming. I had a DS, I had a 3DS, and I really enjoyed those for the time. You know, you could kind of just take them on the go, and it was very cool. And you had the Game Boy even before that, a little bit before my day, but even then, very cool. You can take a game with you and play it in your pocket anytime you want. I have very fond memories of playing my DS in the days of old, as well as my Wii, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, so, you know, seeing a phone that was able to play a very basic game was like mind-blowing to my young brain. I thought, wow, this is the future. This is so cool. And I see how far technology has advanced now with smartphones and just how different things are in the span of, I don't know, 20 or so years, around there. I'm not very old, but at the same time, like, I've been alive for more than 2 decades, and I've just kind of seen technology shift in such a way where, you know, now kids who are well under the age before I had a smartphone, they got smartphones. It's crazy, man. Like, I have young cousins, elementary school age, and they have smartphones. And they're on social media, and they're playing phone games all day. They're scrolling TikTok all day, and I see how addictive it is. And hell, I'm even addicted to my phone now, and I feel like it is such a detriment to me because it just kills so much of my time, and I'm really trying to get away with it. It's hard, guys, you know, because I need my phone. I wish I could just drop my cell phone and go to a flip phone or something like that sometimes, because I feel like it would be way less of a distraction. But at the end of the day, like, I get sucked into things, checking sports game scores on Instagram, or browsing memes, or catching up with certain people that don't really message on anything else. Like, yeah, I like having social media for that, but when it becomes a distraction, it is just really annoying. And I feel like the social media of old was nowhere near as addictive or distracting as it is now. And now everyone's got a huge, big, bright LED screen in their pocket with their smartphone. It could surf the web, it could do all these things. When the smartphones of old, you know, had very basic functions compared to that. You know, you could text, call, maybe go on the internet very to a very surface level, but it just wasn't as advanced as it is now, guys. And I see why people romanticize that, because I feel like there wasn't as much of a distraction back then with technology as there is now. I feel like most technology that comes out is meant to suck you in and be a distraction. So the company who produces that can get revenue somehow, either off you buying it or advertisements or what have you. But I feel like that has been just such a shift that I really don't like. I really don't enjoy the social media age. It has definitely made some things harder. Connecting with people, socializing, dating. Currently, I'm in the predicament where I am trying to find, somebody who I can date seriously, and it's very hard, guys. I feel like social media has definitely made it harder. Smartphones have made it harder. Escapism has made it harder. People can kind of see anything they want to on these phones now, and I feel like they're a huge issue that needs to be addressed somehow so people don't completely lose their minds to them. I mean, already people's attention spans and their intelligence and just their brain functionality as a whole is decreasing due to these things, and I feel like we could be so much better off as a society if we just kind of limited them or found some way to control them. But I know that's going to take time. I hope somebody invents that in the future. I genuinely think somebody will recognize. Already people are recognizing it's a problem and they're going to fix it. But yeah, man, for the sake of the kids and for everybody else, who's coming up in this time, I want to limit smartphones so, people have it better, and they can actually learn things and see the world outside of the phone. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but yeah, that's been one thing where I romanticize the past, because there really wasn't as much of that technology usage, that escapism, if you will. So that's how I feel about that. Yeah, not a very scripted video, guys. Just wanted to vent a little bit. It's been a long week. I've been working. And yeah, work is stressful. I wish I could put out more videos, guys. I really do. If anyone's watching this video, hey, shoot a comment if you have any topic suggestions, or if I should maybe put some more effort towards these videos, but I just wanted to get something out. Hey guys, thanks for listening to my rant. I hope you all enjoy your weekend and you all stay safe. Winter is coming, friends, so stay strong. Anyway, this has been Maelstrom on another one. I'll catch you later. Peace.